Hello everybody, welcome to Pralines, Deliciousness from the World of Art. The protagonist of this episode is Jorrit Tornquist, born in Graz, Austria in 1938. Among his ancestors are both artists and intellectuals. Initially, Jorrit Tornquist develops a keen interest in biology, which induces him to explore the mystery of life and the infinite variety of life forms. This long-standing passion leads him to undertake the study of biology, then architecture. Due to his personal character and his vision of the world, the young Tornquist participates in the political turmoil of the epoch and impresses some ideas inherent in Austria's artistic avant-garde movements. After some time, he arrives at a critical moment to decide to move to Italy. In Italy, he integrates himself into an intellectually vibrant art community, takes part in prestigious exhibitions, and receives great critical acclaim. Jorrit Tornquist begins to increasingly note the importance of the relationship between life forms and their environments that gives rise to, for example, the phenomenon of mimicry. As an artist, he feels the urge to delve deep into the questions related to colors, namely, what is color? Tornquist subsequently conducts a systematic study of theories that range from Newton's scientific treatment of colors to Goethe's color reflections bearing religious undertones and so on. First of all, colors are perceived by human consciousness only in the presence of light. Colors also obey some strict physical laws. What's more, colors provide the living and non-living components with a chromatic scheme through which they can adjust themselves to their surroundings. Finally, each color has its own individuality, thus its own psychological effects, and can influence people in its own way. For instance, while red represents the force of life as well as strong passions, blue carries a soothing character, and yellow, on the contrary, creates a lively, energetic charge. Jorrit Tornquist's artistic career can be divided into two principal phases. In the first phase, inspired by the premise that the sum of all the colors of the spectrum results in white, Tornquist channels his efforts to obtaining the same sensation of harmony by combining at first 3 colors, then 4, and finally 6. His dedication to color can be said to be scientific, and even more so, to be almost mental, mystical, as if the artist wanted to reach a kind of indisputable and incontrovertible truth through the same colors. With this objective in mind, he further carries out the practice of sculptures and interior designs. The second phase, starting at the beginning of the 70s and lasting until now, sees Tornquist engaged in exploring the interactions between our external and internal worlds. In fact, a shifting context can alter our perception of a specific color. Thus, our color perception doesn't remain consistent, but changes according to the interrelationships among things. Essentially, he attempts to make us conscious of the issue regarding the extent to which the human color perception is subject to errors. In fact, Tornquist himself points out that the very act of contemplation arouses a feeling of enchantment that eventually elicits the thrill of living and the fascination of the moment. He also believes that human beings let themselves be drawn by the attractions of visual contents. What's more, meditating on the properties of colors, Tornquist considers his artistic role as a medium for social engagement. In his vision, he involves architects, in other words, all those operating in landscape space. To Tornquist, each building occupies a space that is expected to blend with its surroundings. Thus, architects, together with their collaborators, should create works generating a state of harmony and well-being to observers and users. A splendid example of Tornquist's color design is the Chef School situated in Aigen in Manstal, Austria. He focuses on the change of colors with the change of seasons. For example, his choice of light colors for some exterior walls corresponds with the planting of deciduous trees. In other words, trees that lose their leaves in winter in order to permit the building to interact with snow. In another case instead, he uses colors that fit perfectly in the evergreen context. The color project applied to the incineration plant of pressure is a culmination of his life's work. It is shaped on the elaboration of varying levels of clarity of a base color with the aim to mitigate the enormous visual impact of the industrial apparatus in the light gray blue sky of the Po Valley. Importantly, drawing on his researches and his teaching activity, Tornquist has published an authoritative book on the study of colors. Jorrit Tornquist looks upon his cultural operator's role as a vehicle to bring new harmonies to our world and is therefore highly acclaimed in the contemporary art panorama. I stop here. Thank you for listening. Don't miss the next episode of Pralines, Deliciousness from the World of Art.